Hi, guys. Thank you for joining the Commerce Show today. What we have on the table today for the first podcast of this wonderful series, we're going to be talking with Phil Kyprianou. The podcast will be amazing. I just got out from the call with him. We're going to talk about branding, what made him create GothRider, and we're going to talk also about digital marketing. So lots of questions will be asked about Facebook ads, how he will adapt his business to the new iOS 14 updates, and also a lot of things around logistics. We were talking together about the difference between dropshipping and 3PL and how did he take bad decisions into his business, but also all the home runs he did. So it's very behind the scene on an e-commerce experts. So stay tuned. It's starting right now. Thank you for joining today. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the Commerce Show today. I'm receiving Phil Kyprianou. Phil is one of my reference in terms of e-commerce. He has been working with Shopify for a long time. He has started a business into the digital advertising and marketing management as an agency in 2008 up to 2012. After that, he has been working in the digital marketing for Evenco to go full-time after in e-commerce in 2015. So since then, he's been working on a brand called GothRider. Maybe you never heard of, but it's a brand that is very focused on bikers. So he started with jewelry, apparel, and now, since the beginning of pandemic, he launched his badass coffee brand. I'm very excited to receive you, Phil, on the podcast. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much, Philip.
Let's kickstart the podcast today with little questions about yourself. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background, and also what made you an e-commerce addict?
Yeah, very simple. I mean, like you said, I've been in the digital industry for over 20 years now. Back then, I mean, before that, I was very involved in the music industry, running a recording studio and recording label. And in this industry, things changed a lot, and in the early 2000, and we had to adapt. And that's where because of my passion of radio, we decided like to open a digital radio station, internet radio station at that point, and it grew very fast. We made very good partnerships in the industry, and at a certain point we had over 200,000 unique visitors per month. We were named top 10 radio station, internet and digital radio station back in those years in Canada, and went well, very good until
Nice.
2008. And 2008 was there was a very interesting reason for that. It was because Facebook came in the market,
Of course.
and started to take lots of traffic from all the other sites that add traffic. People were playing Farmville for a longer time, and they got distracted because of that, of going on other websites. So we lost a lot of our traffic back then, but my partner and I, we had a lot of experience in the digital world, understanding everything related to banner placement, buying banners as well, or displays, understanding what was the game in this market. And that's where we decided to launch a performance agency, which was a bit new in that time in 2008. People didn't understand. They were still selling by impression banners, and we were selling action. We understood at that point what was a CPA, cost per acquisition.
Wow.
So that's what we went for, and started to reach mortgage company, cars dealer, insurance company, and started selling leads to those people. So, and we did that until 2012. My partner was much more into the event business, so he
Okay.
really loved and enjoyed doing events, and I was more the geek guy behind the screen and loving everything related to the internet and much more the digital marketing. So we decided to split apart, and then I went to work at Evenco, which is a very big business in the show and event industry, which is a bit
Yeah.
strange because I was moving out from event. He was going in event, but I did do digital marketing for event. And the,
Yeah.
the great thing is, at that point, um, I was starting selling T-shirt online. So
Oh.
for fun, sidelines, understanding, and fine tuning what I learned also in the CPA and lead generation world. And that went very, very good. I was doing that part time while I was working at Evenco. And at a certain point, I said, you know what? I mean, things are going so well. I want to jump into full time. And that was around like 2015.
Yeah.
And T-shirt was great. I was using a platform called Teespring back then.
Yeah, I know
But
them. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they went big, like huge at this point.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, just sideline. I mean, they're still big, but very in the gaming industry. They're helping a lot of gamers and celebrities to
Yeah.
sell their merch online without having to do anything. So they branch out as well. Things have evolved a lot. But back then, I mean, what pushed me to move to Shopify was very simple. I didn't own the data. I didn't have any data. Teespring was very didn't give us all this information. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to open a small Shopify store. I'm going to bring my online design on that store and start selling them. And that worked. But at the same time, what came was drop shipping. There was like some sort of
Oh
hype
yeah.
doing drop shipping, doing arbitrage from AliExpress and selling things. So I started doing that as well. And I mean, it completely went nuts when I started doing that. But
Oh
the
nice.
thing is, I was throwing a lot of products at the wall to see what was sticking,
Yeah.
and I was selling to multiple different niches, to nurses, to police, to militaries, to dogs owner, to whatsoever. My store was a store where you can find anything, and there was nothing, that makes sense together.
Yeah.
And
And
at a certain point,
at that
yeah,
point, GothRider wasn't existing yet. You were still testing, from a more digital background to an e-commerce background. So you're moving forward into the e-commerce industry. So you've tested a lot of things and trying to do some retail arbitrage and test things that would generate revenue to live from that, right? So
yeah,
that was the
exactly,
beginning. Oh,
exactly.
okay.
And mainly, my source of traffic back then was Facebook. I was barely doing any email marketing or whatsoever. It was very, very, very basic. And at a certain point, I mean, there was things that were selling better than the other, and figure out, if I remember, it was a piece of jewelry or I think a chain or something like that that was aimed for much more I would say, the biker industry, and we sold a lot there. And again, I started testing another product, and it sold very good. So at a certain point, I say, you know what, I'm going to start looking to branch out products and put them into sites that are much more niche and where I can scale them. So I had, like, over at a certain point 10 stores that were running.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was just insane. Uh, that was the biggest error I made. I'm gonna tell you right now, that
Yeah.
was the biggest error, because I was trying to spread, and like we say, spreading too thin at the end, it gives like the opposite results.
Yeah.
So, and there were like few niches that were doing good. We had one that was really into like everything, tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons and things like that were doing
Oh
good.
yeah.
There was also, yeah, and also like the biker niche that was doing good. So at
Yeah.
this point, I think it was September, October, I launched GothRider, but basically GothRider was not what it is right now. It was like this small baby that doesn't know his identity yet, or
Yeah.
doesn't know where it's gonna go, and again, I mean, we started bringing all products that were related to that niche and start selling, and it was, I mean, we had like a huge growth for a couple months after, and
Does the idea of GothRider came because one of your product stick to the wall, as you said, like with the chain and all that stuff. So you decided to, okay, let's invest more time into that niche because it does convert well.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly, and what happened is basically, I mean, I didn't know a lot about this industry, or even like the biking niche and the biking behaviors, bikers behaviors, or anything like that. So at a certain point, I didn't have any beard at that point.
Now you have a beard for
Now
credibility,
I have
and
a beard,
yeah, you can relate to bikers. And do you own a motorcycle or?
Not yet. I mean, the time I wanted to get one, I got injured, so I
Oh,
never been able to do my course and get one. So I had to postpone that. And after, I mean, a bunch of stuff came, but it's still on my checklist and
yeah.
my goal. And it's still one thing I have to, if I achieve that, I'm gonna buy my motorcycle. It's much more like, okay, that's gonna be my reward, now. But
Yeah,
basically,
that's great.
um, so basically, when I started, to see that there's really something serious about this niche and this business, I started basically to understand more, what was going on in this industry, understanding the behaviors, what they like, what they don't like, what they do on their weekend, what they do in the morning, and everything, and I went to events, I went to, every places that they could stick and be. I tried to be there to understand what was going on and what they would be interested for,
Yep.
So from there we launched a bunch of apparels that did well, a lot of articles. We started selling wallets and a bunch of other stuff. We did a lot of jewelry, and basically jewelry became some sort of my passion at a certain point, because it
Nice.
was touching a technology that I really enjoy, which is 3D printing. So I was
Mm,
looking for ways on how we can make jewelry efficient, fast, and source it also at the same time locally. And with 3D printings, we were able also to level up the quality and the type of design we could do.
that is
So
very
that's
interesting. You
so
went
that's when I
further.
decided to focus. Sorry.
You went further than just marketing the product. You actually built them and tried to think how you can be more effective in terms of production and also sourcing. So that's very interesting. This is where you get very involved at that
Yeah.
point. That's cool.
Exactly, and also at the same time, we're starting facing a lot of, I would say, competition from people that were starting sourcing exactly the same products than we were in China. So that's where I was like, okay, clients were coming to us and they said, "Oh, I got like this product, and you didn't deliver it on time, and all this kind of stuff." I say, "Yeah, I mean that's not me." And I was starting to see, other websites that were basically copying or getting inspired by what we were doing.
Mm,
And that's where we decided, you know what? I mean, I'm a bit fed up of that. I mean, I'm
yeah.
always fighting for the lowest price, competing with other people that just don't care about their customers and the whole experience. So I decided,
Yep.
I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing right now, starting to review my business model. So this is where we stopped sourcing from China and started investing locally in local artisan, local designs, and all this kind of
Nice.
stuff. But we had also to adjust, which means that cost of goods was different, because the pricing was different, was way more expensive than
Yeah.
what we used to do. So we acquired a lot of customers for the past couple of years, and that was around 2017, 18, if I remember.
Yeah.
And it's like we had to start from the beginning again, because the type of customers was not the type of customers that were buying a $30 or $60 ring.
Of
It was a
course.
customer that were going to buy $350 ring, $400 ring, thousands of dollars. So cost per acquisition, even if it was profitable, it was demanding much more money, because
Yeah.
you to acquire customers that's going to pay, let's say, $400 ring, you need to spend $100, and you need to see if it's going to convert at $100.
Oh yeah.
So it's much more demanding. And
It pushed more pressure on your cash flow. So, and at that time,
exactly.
if I remember well, in 2017, Clearbanks or Shopify Capital weren't on the market, and they are actually there to solve that type of cash flow issue where your sales and the average order value of each of your sales are much more higher. So to generate a sale of $30 instead of $200, it's totally different. So yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there was a change also going on Facebook. Facebook was starting to change in terms of how their tracking, their new tracking came in 2015, but it was starting to get really deployed and used around the end of 2016,
Yep.
17. And we started to see big changes in the cost to acquire customers. There's much more also, we started like in 2015, I think there was, or 16, there was barely 2 million advertisers. And in 2017, there was like, I don't know, like probably 10 million or 15 million advertisers. So there
Yeah.
was much more people getting inside and getting more competition. So between 2018, I would say, to 19, 20, we basically worked hard to figure out, what would be our model. It's a bit like a teenager. Basically, we were at that teenager stage where we see the world. It's a cool world. There's multiple possibilities, but we really don't know. We still are there, and we like playing video games and things like that. So we know that there's a future coming, but how we are going to trigger that, it was or get to there, it was not very clear. So I was starting, to question myself about, how I'm gonna move forward. Where should what should be my next step? And I was starting looking at other ideas that I had in the past, as because GothRider was my baby. I knew this is where I was going to go. I knew that was the brand I was going to push, because there was traction behind, there was proof of concept, proof of the niche, proof of the market. Everything was there. There was just one missing link. And basically I started, looking, like I said, to consumable products, because this was what I would be able to start forecasting. So, which means that if I'm able to start selling stuff on a recurring basis that people want, it's easier after to say, what, if I acquired this customer for XYZ number and they are staying there for at least 3 months or 4 months, it's easy for me to do, okay, I need that much of money to get that, and I can scale after, which before was almost impossible, because jewelry, it's almost unpredictable. Someone's going to buy one time and they will never come back. A bit like engagement rings. You are going probably to go to Berks to one time of your life. You're gonna buy a
maybe soon.
ring. Sorry?
Maybe soon. My girlfriend, she's asking for it, so I'll get there soon. Maybe I won't buy from GothRider because we're not bikers, but of course I'll make her a joke of. That would be great.
So that's the thing. You're thinking about buying a jewelry. You're probably gonna buy, some sort of expensive one, and that might be the only time, like I say, it depends on a lot of stuff, but the only time you're going to get that. So the lifetime value of this is big for them, but it doesn't guarantee recurring revenue,
Of course.
Which consumable products, they're going to come back at a certain point, and it's easier. The frequency and the lapse time between the need for the product is shorter. So I was looking, into cosmetics, supplements, and coffee, because I was a coffee addict, enthusiast, let's say. And an opportunity.
It's the positive way to say it. So enthusiast instead of addict.
Exactly. Exactly. And I had an opportunity back 10 years ago. Didn't work because I didn't have, let's say, the right partners, the right thing, right? But there was an opportunity that finally we missed the window. And now, I mean, there was this new opportunity that was there because COVID came, but also at the same time, I was consulting for a coffee business. And I
Mm.
mean, we had a very good match. I mean, I don't remember exactly, I think it was like March 15 or March 20th, 2020, which is last year,
Yeah.
not even last year. I mean, I made a call and I say, can we do that to, can I, create a blend and put my brand on it and, do something like very unique about that. Hey, yeah, no problem. I mean, let's do it. And it took
Wow.
like about like 15 days and we were ready to sell our first bag of coffee.
It went so
And
fast. I was looking at that, all your steps. We were exchanging some emails at that time. I do remember you were sending me like the new prints of the coffee. I was like, this guy
yeah.
is crazy. Each time I saw an ad or things around the new coffee, I was like, that guy is crazy. What? How he's going so fast? And then you release the coffee, and then boom, 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 in my Facebook, everything exploded. I was always targeted. I was like, man, I just bought once, and and I'll have to buy again. The coffee, by the way, for everyone that is listening that never tested it, it's something. Oh yeah, it's something. It does have a great taste, but it also wakes you up in the morning,
Yeah,
and
yeah, very good. I mean,
that's
that's
amazing.
the effect we want to give, basically. And that was the goal because when we started looking at this, we started also looking at our competitors and looking
Yep.
what people liked in that niche and to see if there was not some sort of overlap, between and what kind of part of the market we could get. And basically that's how we came with that. And
Outside
and
of
also that,
the outside of the fact that you wanted to have something recurrent, were you having a certain strategy in mind, linked to your brand to release a coffee? Was it to extend the brand experience outside of the apparel and the jewelry, or what was your thinking outside of that? And can you tell us a little bit more about the branding strategy around GothRider?
yeah, sure. I mean, prior to the coffee, I had this kind of, we call it epiphany, I think, moment where I realized that my brand was not a product brand. And that's where I started to understand there's a real and big separation between a product brand, which everything is tied to product, and a lifestyle brand. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, I'm a lifestyle brand because my goal is not to be the guy for jewelry. I'm the guy to um, come around you and support you, let's say, during your day, during your week, during your life, with everything that can complement to your I would say your need that are tied to your own lifestyle. So if we are in the, I would say, much more badass lifestyle, which includes bikers, but people in the army, could be firefighters, could be people that are doing extreme sports or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is the world we're living in.
Yeah.
So the goal is how we can put ourselves and offers, products that um, will represent what you're living. And coffee was a good start because you start your day with a coffee. So this is the first thing we get in. And then after that, you need a t-shirt. We have a t-shirt for you. What are you going to have for lunch? I mean, we'll come up with something until the end, but I mean, that's the whole idea here. It's to be able to be with the people in their journey, with them, and each of these products will be with them. So I don't know, maybe a perfume, that will smell, I don't know, like bourbon at a certain point. I don't know. But I mean, that's really, I mean, the idea, and that's what made the difference between the old GothRider, let's say the teenager GothRider, and now the GothRider that is entering in is much more adult phase. And they say that a brand can take 15 years,
Yep.
to grow and to get into people's life. And that's true because you need to tweak it. There's things that you're learning doesn't work, you're going back, you're moving forward. And there's a bunch of other stuff in the back scene also that happens where you learn a lot, and that's basically what I did the past now 6 years with that.
Yeah, that's very amazing. And for people that don't know, you made I think over 1 million in after, let's say, 8th month, around that, in terms of sale. So
Yeah.
you touched something for sure. What was let's say, the biggest home run you did during all this, testing? If I don't think the first home run was the coffee, because of course the coffee is an home run. But before that, what was the best, let's say, strategy or thing that you kicked off and went very well? Stick to the wall, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. One of the best product, if I remember exactly what we sold, was a watch. I think we sold 4,000 in 6 weeks, something like that. So that was huge. And then after, I mean, we had other products like wallets that did well and other stuff. So at a certain point, we had a lot of hype momentum that helped us to generate that much money. But like I said, I mean, we were not able to keep up at a certain point. We had a lot of issues that we had to face because super growth or hyper growth, especially when you're not ready and prepared or you don't have experience on that, it can be super overwhelming and you are not always making the right decision, and that's one thing I learned about it is like, I was not prepared for that. I didn't have the team for that. I didn't have the logistic, the infrastructure, the understanding also of the financial part of it to sustain that growth. I was too I never had that kind of experience, and even if I had a good agency back then that was working, managing an agency and people, let's say, and services are totally different than
Logistic.
e-commerce, and even in e-commerce, I'm still consulting a lot for other businesses, and I see a lot of people coming from retail that want to move to e-commerce. And when I tell them, guys, this is another business model, it's like you're opening a new business inside your business. You're gonna need like dedicated people there, the logistic that you're used to do with B2B or wholesaling or whatsoever. I mean, that's not the same thing. Yeah, you have the office, the warehouse and everything, but sending a product to each person individually while sending pallets to other people, it's totally different,
Yeah.
So that, and I mean, you're working as well with e-commerce store or retailers that want to jump. I mean,
A lot, yeah.
I mean, that's where most of them, I would say, have the biggest difficulty of moving to e-commerce. It's not about selling a product or reaching your audience. It's much more on the back end, on the logistics side, where things are getting horrific,
And this is where you can lose lots of customers. Not having a proper fulfillment or delivery speed can hurt you a lot. And when you spend a lot of money to acquire a customer, it's always a pain when you see bad feedbacks from that. And at that point, were you set it up like you were shipping from your basement, or you were working with a 3PL, or you had your own warehouse? So what was the setup at that time?
So at the setup, when we started early, if I remember, when we started GothRider early, we were at this time, I started to move stuff to a 3PL. I stopped doing the drop shipping because it was too long. I mean, it was taking to 20 days. I mean, it was always some sort of a risk for customers to not get their stuff lost, and all this kind of thing. So we went to a 3PL, which now is Rakuten 3PL in the United States, but they had another name back then. And we had our warehouse in Atlanta. We were getting all our stuff there. And since our customers were mostly in the United States, it was easier and faster for them to get their stuff. So we've seen, soon as we moved to that, we've seen high satisfaction rate increased. And what happened basically is I made a mistake. I made a mistake is the year after, when I got my financials and I look at the profit and the expenses. I look at the stuff and I say, you know what? Wow, that cost me this much of money to and spending that much of money on a 3PL. Okay, I'm gonna go back to drop shipping, and that
Oh,
was the worst thing I made. Basically,
of course.
I should
Yeah.
have, I should have said, okay, it cost me, but look at the satisfaction, instead of looking only at the numbers,
Yeah.
look at what I'm building. I'm building customers that are coming over and over, and was just sticking to that. And I mean, that's one of the reason after that milestone I hit, I couldn't get back to that point, and I
Oh.
couldn't get the grow I was supposed to get the year after,
Mm.
because of that small decision that was based only on numbers and not on the whole satisfaction. So that's one thing. Now I change, my my thought is I prefer losing money at the beginning and having
Yeah.
the best experience possible with the clients.
Mhm.
But I know because of that, they're going to come back later and they will buy more, and that's why the lifetime value comes in place. Understanding your lifetime values, understanding the right KPIs or your numbers will make you able to scale in a much more, I would say, forecastable way or
Yeah.
secure way at a certain point. If you're only sticking to expenses and you don't look what it brings you in, basically it's where you have everything bad. And that brings me
Yeah.
also to some customers that I consult, and I see like some customers. I mean, they have so much potential. They got like
Yeah.
so much, let's say, SEO traffic. And they get like this. I mean, it's free traffic, free money almost. But they don't want to invest more in their customers. Let's say relationship. They don't want
Ah.
to invest more in marketing. They see it as an expense. They don't see it as investing, in your business to make it grow. So, and it's hard, because there's really two way of thinking in this business,
Yeah.
and and yeah, that's basically it.
I feel you on that because lots of time we're gonna advise give some advice to clients and they don't realize the impact of having satisfied customer and also be aware that on the web if you do offer a crappy service or a crappy delivery experience other clients will know and you cannot control all
Exactly.
the reviews online, so this is of course something very important to be aware of. And just to clarify something for people that are new to e-commerce, just the difference between a 3PL and drop shipping, because we were talking about that. If you can just
Mm.
clarify on your hand, how was the setup from drop shipping to 3PL, just so people can understand more and make
Yeah,
sure which
absolutely.
type of road to take. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, there's three difference. There's what we call arbitrage, there's drop shipping, and there's 3PL. Okay. So
Yeah.
arbitrage is selling something that you don't have in hand. Basically, that is owned by someone else. And you ask them to send it, let's say, white label to a customer. Drop shipping could be basically a relationship that you have with another supplier that basically ship it for you from his warehouse. Then the 3PL is something basically that you bought, that you own, a product that you
Hmm.
store at a warehouse. And a lot of people are mixing sometime like drop shipping with arbitrage because they say, a lot of people will say, oh, drop shipping is shit and that's not good, that's not working. That's
Yeah.
totally a bad answer. I mean, what it
Yeah.
is bad is the arbitrage part of drop shipping. Is not drop shipping. I think
Yeah.
drop shipping, if it's done well, it can be super scalable.
Yeah.
It's in some business type the future of doing e-commerce.
Of course.
Because you don't want at a certain point to manage everything yourself. If you can set up good relationships with with your suppliers, and they can handle because they are manufacturing their product themselves, I mean, it's just easier for them to send the stuff directly to your customers. The problem with that is you cannot control the old chain, the old chain of this how can I say that, the old supply chain,
Yeah,
which means that you don't control if they can go wrong and it's going to be their fault. But if things are going wrong over and over, it will affect your brand, you know.
of course.
So
And
that's part of the game, you know.
yeah, and also in terms of cash flow, I think, if I'm not wrong, that doing drop shipping will save you a lot of cash flow because all your money can be invested into ads instead of having an actual inventory on the background. So that can be very interesting also. Yeah. So that.
Especially when you start, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when you start or you want to do proof of concept, you know, it's good to do that kind of stuff before starting investing, you know, much more. You know, now, I mean, there's multiple ways of doing things for sure, you know, doing that the drop shipping way, let's say, but also for print on demand, you know, everything related to apparels, hats or whatsoever. Now there's suppliers that offers the production and the drop ship, let's say, for you without you investing in inventory or printing machines or dealing with other suppliers to do that, which is great because you can basically have an ID and in the next 4 hours be ready to launch instantly and start selling. I mean, you could never do that, let's say 10 or 15 years ago, you know?
No, of course, that's very amazing. I know you've developed a lot of skills in terms of social advertising. So for the last part of this podcast, I would like to talk about that. So why do you use social in terms of traffic to be, let's say, the core of your traffic strategy?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it has to do with where your customer are. You know, I think that starts always with how they behave and where they are basically, and most of their time they will spend it online and they will spend it on social media. Now, what's the choice or which social media is the best is going to depend also on your demographic. And on our case, since our demographic is a bit older, Facebook's still the number one place for us to generate, you know, sales online. And as well, I mean, Facebook's as the best, even if sometimes it's hard and they're doing like tricky stuff on their side, you know, it's still the best place to advertise online and to scale as well. Google is great, but Google, you know, again, is very expensive and it's tricky. And it's hard when you have new products coming also often, you know, because you need to figure out much more about, you know, what people are searching. And then from what people are searching, you base your product on, which doesn't make sense on our end because we launch multiple products almost every week. So we need to do much more, you know, marketing that will shock the eye, let's say, or, you know, see, oh my God, okay, I can stop on the feed, I see that, and okay, I'm going to click and see what's going on if it fits for me. Google, I mean, basically when you're on Google is, you know, already what you're going for, you know.
Of course, you're not at the same...
Sorry?
Yeah, you're not at the same stage when you're searching on Google. So Facebook is very much used for top of funnel, if I can say so, just to raise awareness about your brand and the product that you have. And can you tell me a little bit more about, you know, how you catch the attention? So I get it with all your visuals, but I know you have like a badass wording also for your ads. Can you tell just a little bit more about how you're thinking your, let's say, top of funnel in terms of acquisition?
Yeah, I mean, the goal here is to create curiosity, you know, about the brand, you know, and to make sure that people, okay, yeah, I see this product, I want to know more about it, you know. At least that first part is important. Or I see that logo, or I see that image, oh, it fits me, it fits my lifestyle. I like skulls, I like whatsoever, dark shirts and things like that. I'm gonna go, you know. It's much more about what people like, that's I would say that the top of the funnel. Then after, what I'm looking is to secure their trust, the trust on our brand, and I will reinforce the branding, or I reinforce with testimonials and things like that. And at the bottom of the funnel, I mean, if they didn't convert before, I try to give them basically some discounts, goodies, or anything like that. Now, we do also a lot of lead generation, so which goes into our email. We do a lot of contests, so we get a lot of these people that have some sort of interest in what we're doing. And then we have some sort of funnels in the back end where we try to give them away stuff to try at least our product. And that's the beauty about coffee, because everyone basically drinks coffee, and you can easily sample that,
Yeah.
T-shirt, hats, whatsoever. It's super hard to sample that,
Yeah.
So that's how we get them first, is to try as much as possible sampling them. And then after that, once they taste, they like the coffee, they start buying other stuff, Another thing we're doing is daily giveaways. I'm live every night to give out stuff.
Yeah.
Give out stuff.
Wow, that was my next question. Is still relevant to run some contests or giveaways in 2021, and what has been your best strategy around it? Because of course you're doing it. So yeah, I would like to hear you about that.
Yeah, so we started. I mean, my background is in lead gen. I've been doing that since 2008. And I brought that strategy basically early in GothRider, and we were doing quizzes, and we generated like 70,000 new leads that generated a lot of money. We didn't lose money. We made money a bit and break even, but that part of generating these leads on quizzes brought us much more dollars at the end, because we were raising awareness on our brand.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
very
then
cool.
After that, like earlier now for the coffee, we decided to not run quizzes anymore, but decided to focus on giveaway. And the reason, again, it's just because of coffee. Because coffee, since you can serve that to anyone, I mean, you don't have to be as narrow as before when I was selling wallets, watches, and things like that. So it made more sense for me to acquire at the cheapest cost leads. And we're doing so now monthly contest, or let's say, every 6 to 8 weeks, we're having a big new contest. We generate average between 6,000 and 8,000 leads during that time. And then after that, we're doing daily contests. And daily contests is very important for me. And for one reason, it's not only about lead generation, but it's to talk to my community, to talk to the people that are very near the brand, that either are buyers or love what we're doing. And I take like about 45 minutes per day, and I'm with them talking about the brand, the products, the new stuff that are coming. And at the end, I give them basically something, I do a draw, and one of these people that are with me until the end gonna be a winner.
That's very interesting, and I think it's a big trend right now, like the live streaming selling, because you're not directly selling your product, but you're you're explaining your brand, you're storyteller. So that's the way I see it. And I know that right now in China, it's a very, very huge trend. So you're already before everyone else. So that's very interesting. I will attend to those giveaway. Are you using like Instagram, Facebook, or a match of the two platforms?
So we tested basically both. We tested actively Instagram. The problem with Instagram, it's a good platform to go live, but it's very hard to get engagement or invite people. Because the reason is people don't know their friends on Instagram as they know it on Facebook, and tagging them to bring them on the feed was super hard. So we had our time to grow.
Okay.
And then after that, we tried, multiple feed, and we found out like we were spreading again too thin,
Yep.
So it's better to be one place where you're doing and you give rendezvous to your people. And that's the place than trying to be everywhere. Where we had a group. We have a Facebook group, so we were doing like a live in the group, a live on our page, a live on the Instagram, and that basically was not the best strategy. So we brought everything now on our Facebook page, GothRider brand, and that's where basically we bring all people, and it's growing daily. We're getting lots of engagement, lots of shares, comments, and things like that, and that at the same time helps a lot on your page to get when you post something. Facebook's is liking that engagement because it brings people to Facebook and made them stick to Facebook, and that pushed the algo to basically bring us at the top of the feed when we have new stuff there. Same for the ads. It has a small impact on the ads, but it still has an impact because we are almost like as a trusted source as well. So that and like I was saying, since Facebook is our best source of traffic right now, we're trying to play more towards that, than trying to spread everywhere. We're still very active on Instagram, but I'm not posting, let's say, every single day like I'm trying to do on Facebook. And
I see that I'm currently on your Facebook page, and I've been there before the call, and I see you get a lot of traction on the contest. And I saw also your new Leprechaun mystery box.
Yeah.
I've got already some retargeting ads around it. Can you tell me a little bit about that? What's your strategy behind it?
So we did a lot of tests. So, I mean, it comes up with the coffee. First of all, again, with the coffee. The big problem with that is, selling one bag of coffee, it's not very profitable here in Canada because the shipping is very expensive. So we have to find out. Yeah. I mean,
so
it's just insane, And we're selling also much more now in the United States. And believe it or not, I mean, it's cheaper for us to send in the US than to Canada, in most case scenarios.
Yeah, so, I believe it.
Yeah. So so back when we launched, we've seen that like very fast. I mean, that we couldn't sell only one bag. We started, doing bundles, smaller bundles, and we started doing themes bundle. I think it was November or something like that.
Yep.
And we did that, basically a mystery box with overstock, or products that was not at the top of quality that for us, I mean, didn't pass the top quality. So we say, you know what, we're going to do a mystery box, guys. We're going to put all the t-shirts or mugs that didn't pass our quality control test, and we're going to basically make you a bundle price. And it went crazy. We sold out super fast. Say, okay, wow, there's something there. So then after that, we came with the Pirate Mystery Box. Again, big, huge hit. So from there, we said, okay, you know what? We're going to start doing themed mystery box every single month.
This is insane.
And we did the Valentine's Day, did well.
Yep.
Now we do with the Leprechaun. And that will help us. Basically, there's going to be another one. Then after, we are going to branch out in a subscription theme mystery box.
Oh, so that's the next step. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, that's the next step. Yeah. The next step. And that's going to be fun because the mystery box will help us also to develop partnerships with other brands where we are going to be also able to do co-branding and things like that. And we will add new stuff inside these mysteries. So it's like a bit, and there will always be coffee for sure, and everyone needs coffee. So they will be ensured in this mystery box that they will get coffee every month also. So it's really a way to branch out, but also, we keep the main product, but we find a way to repackage it in multiple ways that it doesn't get out of breath, and we can renew over and over nonstop as many ideas we have, and people like that. So like the Pirate Mystery Box has been so popular that we have to bring it back. People want them again. So another thing also we are doing it is the designs that they got the first time will not be the same at all. So we went back on the design board with our designer, and we're doing a whole new rebranding of this
Yeah,
product.
the
30 bucks for the next time.
exclusivity. Yeah, the exclusivity behind it is very something that, like the famous fear of missing out that box and not getting the special edition shirt that will be in that box is, I think, what triggers a bit the transaction. But honestly, I almost never see someone to twist a product like you're doing. So honestly, go follow the page because it's awesome. Each week I'm like, okay, new stuff, still the same coffee, but it's all about branding. So wow, that's insane. I wanted to end the podcast on something that is, I think, on every marketer's lips right now. The iOS 14 updates that are causing some limitations in terms of advertising, targeting, and retargeting. So, first, what do you think about those limitations that brings right now on the table? And also, how does a brand like you that, fuels its growth by, social ads, will adapt to get clients and still be relevant in terms of advertising? So that's a little a tricky question.
There's a couple of points on that. First of all, the iOS 14 and Apple versus Facebook is really political. What is happening basically is Apple is gathering all the data. It's they want to restrict who they're gonna share the data. So it's mostly financial battle or something like that. There's something in the back end that was working because there's no laws that are making that not possible. It's not really a problem. Apple's is coming now with their own platform, ads platform, because they have basically like so much data that they want to monetize that. So that's one thing there. The other thing is marketers will always find a way to go around that, and these big people out there, they have the best programmers, engineers, and whatsoever. They will figure out a way to do this. Already, Facebook finds some ways that are working.
Yep.
And third is, before tracking, we were doing ads without tracking. We were still able to figure out what was working or not.
Yep.
So I know there's going to be a way. Now, the biggest issue right now that we're living with all this problem is the delayed attribution that we are having right now. It takes much more time to get the results on things that were, you were able to figure out within a couple of minutes if a campaign was profitable or not. We have campaign that are running, we know they're profitable, but it takes us 72 hours to get the data because it's server side. They have to validate the data on the other platform and to see if they can match it, and that takes time. And the problem also we're living, and now we're getting super technical there, but is the attribution time. Most platforms use 28 days last click. Now Facebook is using 7 days or 7 days, 1 day view, which again makes it very hard because you don't know exactly at what timing, compared to others. So when you go into Google Analytics, you go there, you have to mix this whole attribution in a different way. So what's happening right now is you're going to see a lot of third-party tracking system coming out, trying to play on that game. They can do up to a certain point, but they are not the holy grail that they try to say they are, basically, because there's still limitation in the way things are getting tracked. The only way to be able to track from the beginning is already also having some sort of data from previous customers. That helps a lot. So where it's going to help is specifically on active customers that you have, but when it's totally brand new, fresh customers, it's where things are going to be a bit more difficult to figure out. So It's not only Facebook. I mean, Pinterest are in this game. Snapchat, TikTok, everyone that has tracking right now have the same issue.
Yep.
I, I mean, they will have to come up to something, and probably Apple will have to let open a certain part of their system. They cannot close everything, or they cannot say, or push people to, even if they accept by default, they will probably still be
Yeah.
able to be tracked a partial portion of it, because they are going to kill basically what is the good thing about this business. It's being, as a user, it's being able to be targeted by good stuff
Yep.
that are relevant to you, and that increase the customer experience. So I don't want to get like targeted by things that are not at all with what I like.
Yep.
It's not win-win. And by doing that, it's like going back like 20 years ago. It's like you're going to get like lots of thing that just doesn't make sense, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where we are.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's gonna be a big change for an agency like us and you in your consulting business right now. It's there's a lot of noise around things to do and things to not to do and how to adapt. And of course, yeah, there's a lot of SaaS services that are coming out and say that they are the solution. But of course, I think Apple will have to adapt their model to make more data available to the advertiser, because it doesn't make sense at the end. So that's very interesting. We'll see this in the future. Maybe in 1 year, I'm gonna have you back and let's talk about it again. That's almost the end of the podcast. I always I'm gonna ask a question at the end. So I would like to know, what is your best source of knowledge in terms of e-commerce? Where do you take your insights, your news, your things? So what are the ecosystem that you're using to get aware of the new things that are coming in?
Mostly, I would say podcasts now. I'm listening to a lot of podcasts, listening from others' experience. And that's where I get most of what's going on. Like I was listening a podcast yesterday, and there was a guy now that builds a part of his community for his business on Twitch. So Twitch is huge, is there,
Yes.
and that brings me some ideas. Can I do something on Twitch as well? Is there a place for my business to be on Twitch?
A giveaway, a Twitch giveaway. You can do a Twitch giveaway for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So so this is where I try to see if there's any other opportunities that I'm not aware. Is there things that I need to go much more in depth? So like Pinterest, I've been like interested, and I've been doing Pinterest for a couple of years, but not at the level I want. But I'm still listening to podcasts that talks about Pinterest to see there's probably something at a certain point that's gonna enlighten me, and that exactly what I should do with my Pinterest strategy. So it's trying to keep up with what others are doing, even on other niches, or there can be bloggers, but they don't do e-commerce, but that can be a good strategy for you. Or since I do consulting for a client at the same time, so that's how really I try to keep up right now, more than I used to be on blogs and things like that. So I think that podcast is more relevant.
Yeah, and it's the most up-to-date info that you can get. Have you joined the Clubhouse yet, or?
Yeah, but it's very hard for me to go on Clubhouse. I mean, I like the concept, the idea, and all this. I think it's a lot of investment of your time, and I don't see right now myself investing a lot of time listening people. And when I listen, it's really on my car, and it's specific podcasts that I listen, over and over.
All right. Phil, thank you so much for being with me today. I think there's a lot of value for all the exchanges we had today. I'm very happy about it. So thank you so much.